Step one. As you can tell, I got this. Who was thinking about this baby throw up color? I don't know. But anyway, so here's what we got with the backsplash. I had to patch up some back here before. So if you have any holes, patch them up. Drywall, etc., etc. I have a couple more spots I need to go over, but first thing I'm going to do actually, throw down some primer on here. I'm using Glass. Boom, some Glass Mosaic Tile. Now with this, I don't think that what's behind it really matters, the color, but just to be safe, I'm going to put some primer on it and try to lighten it up a little bit to make sure some of these you can see behind there. So if I put that up there, I could see this throw up tint. So just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I taped off a little bit here to make sure I didn't get any on my new countertops. So do that. Prep this up first. Step one. Get this a light color if you want, whatever. Fix any holes. Okay. So I primed, patched, and I just sanded it just to try to get it as smooth as possible and to give the thin set something to grab a hold to. Make sure that a little something better to grab a hold of. So we are all ready to roll. Next step I'm going to do, some people may already have this, but I highly recommend this. If you can see back here, these don't have anything holding them, they're sticking, they're flush to the wall if you put them in there correctly. So I get little extenders that will extend this out, that way whenever you're tiling, you don't have an old jagged looking thing. These will actually stick out and you put tile behind them. So I'll show how to do that. First step, turn off the breaker box. Don't be a freaking idiot. Go. Alright. So extenders. They kind of just look like this. I bought these from Home Depot. That's what they are. That's called single gang box extension. So I bought these from Home Depot. First thing, power's off. Tested it. Make sure it's off. We're going to pull this out. I'm going to slide this in behind it here. So. Another thing I do is I'm going to go and vacuum out all this crap in here. There's a bunch of nasty stuff. So you can pull these out, vacuum out in there, clean it out, and then we can slide this bad boy in there to help extend. Right. So it comes with a couple screws too, so you're using your old ones if you want to. Anyways, so you put this in there, you put this back in there, and then you just wire it back up. You probably see, whatever. And right now this thing is just moving around freely. I have it out there a little bit. So I'm going to leave it out, and then whenever we're done putting up the backsplash, I'll put these further back in to where they match up with the backsplash. But I'm going to leave this out far enough that way I can put this backsplash behind this. Okay? Okay. So go through and do all of these with those and extend them out a little bit. Then we're ready to throw down. So I got all these bad boys in here. So I went hillbilly. There's nothing wrong with going hillbilly. We taped it off. I didn't have any newspaper, or I'm too cheap to buy the plastic stuff, so I used things that I had readily available. So went hillbilly, taped off all this stuff because you don't want to get thin set on it, get all messy. Washed off the walls a little bit, cleaned them a little bit, so they're ready to rock and roll. A couple things. I went ahead and grabbed this good stuff. Got it from Home Depot. The deal is that with the mortar, you can use that. That's specially made for glass tile. Really, you can use any thin set that has fortified or flexible. So either one of those. Another couple more things before we roll. If you have your stove back here, you're going to want a ledger board. Now mine is actually a little bit underneath it. You actually want it to be flush with the countertops. That way it kind of gives you a nice even starting point, yada yada. I kind of lucked out with my tiles. I can put one row on that, and it will match up perfectly. So I lucked out, so I'm not going to redo that. The other thing is, whenever we get started, throw down spacers all along this bottom, all along the bottom. That kind of gives you something for it to sit on also. Boom, boom. All along the bottom there. So we're ready to rock and roll. Get it. Alright, mortar is mixed. So, a couple things first. Trowel, V-notched trowel. Throw this up there. What you're going to do is you're going to put it on there. You're going to use the notches to go across. And then with glass tile, you want to smooth it out. So then you take the smooth end and kind of smooth it out across there. If you're doing regular tile, you just V-notch it and that's it. Hammer or maybe some type of board, you're going to gently hit this up against them whenever you're doing this to help make sure they're all flush, level, even. Glass tile nippers. They have these little wheels. They cut these pretty good. When you're starting out, you want to lay it out. So if you had this light switch over here, you're going to want to make these cuts first before you do this. So I marked out how far over I want to go. Level it up there whenever you put it up there, like so. Let's rock and roll. Take them at angles. Angles are better. And then just at a slight degree here, you can go across, smooth it out. Tile spacers are what you need.
First one up.
There's our start. Alright, so now we're going to go across. I'm going to try to cut some of these real quick and then we'll get rolling. The first step of cutting, if you look out like me, you have these. Let me measure and I'll show you in a second for the top. I just need 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can just use scissors with this mesh backing and cut it. Literally, just scissors right through this mesh. Pretty slick. And we can rock it back over here. Roll her up. That. Mesh measure. Mesh measure. Check that I need 4 rows. Cut it off. Tile spacer. Dun, dun, dun.
There you go.
You can set your little doobies on that. So now we're going to measure over here. Cut this bad boy. Oh! I can get a good look at this here. Measure up precisely where you need it at. So I know.
Always cut first. Get those in buttons.
Okay. So I know that this whole piece can go. I'm going to nip half of this one. This whole piece can go. Nip half of that one. And you literally just push it down right there on that, and it'll break it off. See, look at that. It's simple. You can get pretty even little cuts with that too, just if it's this small. So go down there. I'm going to do that. All right, so we got them up here. Now it's time to use the block. Gently. There you go. So now we're off and rolling. When you have these little spots over here, you have your tile that's either already cut, or you can reuse the ones that are already cut or whatever. Put a little bit of thin set on the back of it, which is known as back buttering for all you savvy folk. And then you can just place it, if I can get a good grip on it, right on up there. And fit it in there. Get it nice and level. Use your tile spacers if you need to. And that's what you do to all those. So, the other thing is for your border over here on the outside. Some people leave it like this, and when they're done they just caulk around the end. Or you can also, which isn't bad, or you can also, some people actually do a border. And you take just one row and you just kind of drop it down right here. And you use a level to make sure it's level on the side, and you trace it up. So it'll give you kind of a border. Totally your call which way you want to do. Those are your two options with bordering the edges here. Thin set, V-trowel, smooth it out, throw them up there, measure out around your outlets and cut them out, and then back butter on the fill ends. That's about it. Get to work. I know I'm going to. Some progress pics. You know, this wall over here took me forever because you got all these little cuts you have to make here and there. So that happens. It's okay. Now this wall over here should be moving quickly. I just now made a cut, threw this up here, so you know, you measure, you cut it, you dry fit it. If it looks good, then you throw down your mortar and start moving. So that's where we're at. I mean, once you get past these outlets, it's all smooth sailing, really. It's very simple. And so once you get a little bit on here, then you go over with your hammer and your board, make sure they're all flush, make sure they're sticking on there nice, and then just keep rocking and rolling. You know, this, like I said, this wall should go by quick. So you got the steps.
Mortar. We're gonna do a quick little throw down with some there.
Go over it with the V, then flatten it back out if you have these glass mosaics. You dig? Got your spacers down here at the bottom at all times. You know, usually I just do some mortar or do the thin set and then throw my spacers down. If not, they kind of get stuck in that thin set. Let them rest on top.
And throw it down.
Press it from the bottom up. Flatten it out from the bottom up. And keep rolling.
Can we get up top?
And then I had to run to the store, so this right here has been sitting on the side. I can't really get there with my trowel, so I do this little back buttering method where you just put some on the back of them, and they should stick nicely. Back butter, baby. I'm gonna butter your bread.
What do you think? There we go.
We just keep on rocking and rolling all the way through it. Fucking simple. Hell yeah. And like I said earlier, my ledger board's just barely down, which yours shouldn't be, but mine is. Anyways, this is going to fit perfectly for one row, so I kind of lucked out. But alright, rock and roll. Almost done. First thing, if you have some spots where there's excess maybe hanging over that you're not happy with, shut up, Samson. Then you can use just something to get in between those little, where you're going to grout at those little lines and clean them out if you want. I did that a little bit. Grout and caulk. Mixed our grout. You're going to need a grout float, put it on. And I have a little small one to get in this little corner down here. You don't have to have that, but I do. First thing, don't worry too much about getting it down here because you're going to caulk down there. Like I said, if you can use just one of these little dudes to get in there if you have excess hanging over. And I always vacuum out the bottom to clean it out. But the last thing you'll need is a sponge also to clean off this excess. Hey, some people don't like grout. I don't have a problem with it. What you do is just get in here, get a big old heaping load in here. Don't be shy with it. And then just throw it on. And just really get it in the grooves there. Go all around. Really put it on there nice and heavy. Because you're going to wipe off the excess. Diagonals, the recommended way to go. Just get it in there however you need to. Like I said, nice and thick. All angles, all angles. And like I said earlier, whenever you get it in the grooves to where you want it, take this thing at an aggressive angle, slide it off. Okay? It's best to go in one way. That way you don't mess up your grout lines here. So if you want to go this way, go this way. If you want to go that way, go that way. If you want to go up, down, go up and down. So that's what you do. And you can see we're starting to get in those grout lines as opposed to, you know, that. So just do that all the way around, nice and heavy. Put it at, you know, pretty much right on is what I do. And then whenever I get it in there where I want it, take an aggressive angle, wipe it off. Alright? Go all the way around. Like I said, you can use this small dude if you have a little area down there. And we'll go all around. And that's about, that's really all there is to it. I'll come back, I'll probably do this whole wall, and I'll come back with a little bit damp sponge and wipe off the top, because you can kind of see, you're going to have that little haze. And you'll do that, you pretty much want to work in about 10 to 15 minute increments maybe before you wipe this stuff off. Give it about 10, 15, 20 minutes to sit before you wipe it off. Alright, so everything is all grouted, nice and beautifully. So, done grouting, last step, caulk. And you're going to want to caulk the bottom, all around the bottom where it butts up to your countertop. You're also going to want to, if you didn't do a border on the end, then you're going to want to caulk on your ends, unless you did that vertical border. And also, I recommend in your seams here, if you have like a windowsill like I do. And then that's it. So this is my finished product here. So shiny, so sleek. So have fun, enjoy. Not too bad of a job, not too difficult of a job. Just attack it, have a good job, or have a good time. Thanks for watching.